Well, starting now through the month of February, News Channel 34 is highlighting the contributions and hidden histories of African Americans across the country. We begin tonight with a story from Maryland. News Channel 34's Morgan Wright shows us how archaeologists have discovered slave quarters, a slave cemetery, and descendants of slaves that once worked and lived on the land.
Deep in the forest, sisters Wanda Watts and Shelley Evans walk in the footsteps of their ancestors. The two women share a frustration common to many African Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in America.
We have no history. We begin and we end here.
But thanks to a recent and accidental discovery, the sisters may have uncovered their family's hidden history on this piece of land.
My three times great-grandmother was born here.
Evans and Watts are the descendants of slaves who lived, worked, and may have died here on what was the Belvoir Plantation. Dr. Julie Shablitsky is the chief archaeologist with the Maryland Department of Transportation.
We were initially looking for the Rochambeau encampment, which was during the American Revolution.
But instead, they found slave quarters built in the 1780s and lived in until emancipation in 1864. The land was a tobacco plantation once owned by relatives of Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. A former resident of the property tipped Dr. Shablitsky's team off to what they thought could be a slave cemetery tucked along a ravine deep in the woods. They found nearly half a dozen pieces of broken marble and stones resembling grave markers, but to be sure, Dr. Shablitsky brought in cadaver dogs.
For me, it was the knowledge of them being buried someplace rather than being tossed away.
But even so, they may never know for certain if their family is actually buried here at Belvoir. In Crownsville, Maryland, Morgan Wright.
And News Channel 34 will air a half-hour Hidden History special featuring stories from across the country and here at home. Showtimes are February 9th at 6 p.m. on WIVT News Channel 34 and then at 7 p.m. on WBGH NBC 5. You can also catch other individual stories on the Hidden History page on binghamtonhomepage.com.